All right, let's see. That should be working. Yeah, that's working too. All right, so what are you? Go to dashboard.
8 out of 16, even though the proportional increase is the same.
No, go to dashboard. Okay, that's cool. Do. All right, so let's see. All right, let's get that, and then switch to move you down here, and then switch you to that. Okay, cool. Do. Okay, this is, I'm still working on my potato video, and currently we went through on the last one, we got through one of the better history papers, and been working on the outline, so I'm going to go on to the history section and work on that. One of my friends or mutual is streaming, so I have her in the background of my ear. And she's doing, let's see, she's doing cognitive myopia and biases, which basically are brains. Okay, so how can I put this, because I'm not a psychologist? We believe something, we want to keep believing something, but then instead of like actively rebelling against it, we just form mental habits and keep doing it even though we know it's wrong. Like I remember doing it this way, and someone goes, "Hey, you shouldn't do it that way. That's harder. Let's do it this way." You're like, "Oh yeah," and then you forget the new way and go back to the hard way because that's the way you've always done it. So yeah, there's that. She's going into the stats. So I'm going to go to see here, streaming. Cool. Now, so you've got the history portion, and let's see, I've got my script up and society impact. Okay, so it's the society impact. Okay, so let's move you over here, then move you over here. Society impact. First and foremost, let's do this in dots. Where's the thingies? Let's do this. That's why they just hit it. Oh. Okay, so let's go with this and move this here. So first and foremost, for societal impact, it's the third largest crop in the world, behind wheat and rice. Began 13K years. Was the 13K years as a hunter-gatherer in the Andean region. Let's see. Then began cultivating and as a basis for economy. And so that was this. Domestication. Domestication started about 8K. Located the border, President Bolivia Peru and Bolivia, in the Andean regions near Lake Titicaca. Because if you have a chance to say Lake Titicaca, you say Lake Titicaca. Basin. And so problems. Problems. Glycoalkaloids. Alloids. Bonk. Let's just fix that. Yes, I meant that. Two solutions. The clay solution, they solve the glycoalkaloid problem by first using a certain clay in its consumption, which bulk that portion, that portion clay consumption to bind, and the development of Tunyo. Oh god, how do I do the symbol? Insert. Where is the symbol? Special characters. Symbol, no. Maybe it's punctuation? No. Modifier? No. There. Okay, donc. Development junior. What? See here, bulk. So this developed into an economy where freeze-dried potato was used as a currency that could also be eaten. Calories and nutrients built. So that's, I need to put, let's go with early society impact. And donc, and then Spanish impact. Okay, so this is, we can speed run this. Donc, Very food production, Tiwanaku. Which reaches Tiwanaku. Tiwanaku was based around the potato. Spanish impact. Okay, so Spain, and no, stop correcting it to sprained. Spain. Okay, Spain. They used it. Let's see here, bonk. What is? And there's, all right, so there's that. So here's the junior section. Okay, so they used it to fuel their slave labor. And also began as a secret weapon against Brits. Led theirs to silver devaluing and the economic shifts that drove European cultural change. Ah, she's finishing up. Okay. I can close that up. All right, cool. Closing that up and then switching over to this. Okay, so let's go here. So there's two. All right, so that makes sense. Move it over here. Run over in the 1500s. Slowly disseminated. Okay, so there's that. Let's go with spread in Europe. Let's see here. What was the problems? Why do they have problems spreading? Let's see. Racism. Spain didn't understand how important the crop was and hid it because they didn't like the British. Didn't like the British. Okay, I have. Oh, let's see if I can't. Will you like? Thank you. Trying to do that. Let's see. I need a quieter keyboard. Let's see. Let's move this here. Get you over that. Let's see. Kept in Royal Botanical Gardens. Misunderstood. Okay, so magic. Superstitions involving plants. It is difficult to get people to eat. Crop rotation. Not using stock to manure. So they also couldn't use livestock to fertilize with manure. They did a 3-tier crop rotation system where they took and you grew one thing, you grew another thing, and you had something fallow. So 1/3 of their stuff was always fallow. They couldn't fit that into the system, and until they switched up with livestock. Once that see the crop rotation and then politics. 4. So it was considered poor food. That sounds familiar. And with various wars fought, crops considered strategic and tactical in nature. That is to say, okay, so the reason why I'm saying that is because the wars during the 1500s to the 1900s, specifically the 1700s to the 1800s, a lot of the crops would be a strategic target. You would be capturing them or burning them. Potatoes, you can't see. So you don't know how to capture it. So can't burn, can't capture. So some didn't want others to know that. So they could keep eating. And you couldn't. Honk, honk, honk. Spread. Cheap way to feed a population to keep wages down. Calories and nutrients be gotten from poor quality soil locations. Um, certain basically influencers used trickery to eat it, get people to eat it, and then you have the Irish experiment. I'll use that with air quotes. British landlords. Yeah, so in Ireland, British landlords forced the exportation of the food to the UK, and the Irish could only eat potatoes, roughly, because that was the only thing that they could grow that was not taken, and that's why we have a great deal of animosity for the British via the Irish. British landlords took the food and potatoes. Potato famine. And Irish diaspora. Milk. Rosie. Let's go here. Pop growth due to potatoes, and travel led to wider adoption. Calories led to more successful baby making, and more pop led to more travel. This led to a world market, is where we are today. Okay, so health. Health impacts. So, that covers this stuff. This, why is the weather's, oh, one sec. Let's do this. Okay. So that makes sense because when I was checking, it looked kind of spooky outside. So, all right. Nutrition. So, health impacts. The spread. Cheap way. It was a cheap way to feed the population to keep wages down. The calories and nutrients could be extracted from poor quality soils or poor quality locations, hilly terrain, cold terrain, etc. You could also grow this, and during the wars that were going through the time period, a standard strategy would be to come in and either steal all the grains when in Europe the grain was the base of the food pyramid. If you were growing potatoes, it's a lot harder for the infantry and the cavalry to see it. They could march through your fields and not damage them, so you could keep food, thereby, it's not starve to death. However, that being the case, it was still due to the politics, racism, and magical thinking. It was considered either poisonous or poor people, and you shouldn't have it. So they used basically some influencers who were champions of the potato, who probably are very happy I'm doing this in the afterlife. Went through and convinced people to eat them, which caused for a population boom, which caused for diaspora, which caused for more people to grow it elsewhere, which caused trade, which caused for more breeding protocols, which caused for greater crops, which the crops got turned back. And then those started growing, and then that caused another population boom, and so on and so forth. Till it's the third most grown crop and consumed calorie source on the planet, behind wheat and rice. Do so that is health effects, society. All right, cool. Let's go through this one. The potato, Tuber follows only rice and wheat in the world's importance as a food crop for human consumption. Cultivated potatoes have spread from the Andes of South America, where they originate, to 160 countries around the world. Bulk. Consumption of fresh potatoes has declined, while processed potato products have increased. That is potato flour, potato starch, French fries, and chips. As potatoes become a staple in the diets of an increased number of humans, small differences in potato nutritional composition will have major impacts on public health. Potato is a carbohydrate-rich, energy-providing food with little fat. Potato protein content is fairly low, but has excellent biological value of 90 to 100%. Potatoes are particularly high in vitamin C. Skins provide substantial dietary fiber. As many of the compounds have antioxidant capabilities. This review does not intend to replace numerous reviews on potato as a nutrient or food item, but to summarize the contribution of the potato to long-term human health. Well, that's just nice out the gate. This humble tuber has sustained many generations. And new research has revealed possible directions for breeding programs. See here, the origin of the potato. Cultivated potato originated. Okay, yeah, that's 13,000 pre-Columbian and started getting domesticated 8,000 years ago. It was processed into the production of quinoa, which is used in soups and stews. Harvested potato tubers are piled on the ground and are repeatedly frozen over several nights. Skin is removed through trampling, is followed by soaking or leaching. The repeated process removes the glycoalkaloids, and then sun drying. Papa seca. Potatoes were first spread to European countries, including Spain and England, in the 1500s. I did not know that they used that to protect versus scurvy. These are eaten fresh or following storage. Yikes. I might get kicked off. Because my internet might get kicked off. Huh. If it is what it is. Despite apparent diversity, the cultivated potato contains only a fraction of the potential biodiversity present in South American cultivars and cross-compatible wild species. Yeah, that's because we use crops and not the heirloom varieties. Found more variability in wild than cultivated potatoes for all characteristics. Well, yeah, no crap. Again, we're using cultivated, not wild type. For this reason, because the potato genome is known, there exists enormous capacity through breeding to improve potato towards increasingly more healthy food item. I would recommend that it is actually already a healthy food item, just don't deep fat fry it. This is the major thing. Due to the simple fact that it's so widespreadly used, if you could get cultivars that are primarily driven by stable or improved yields under more sustainable growing conditions, that's gas and fertilizer, environmental stresses, and disease and pest pressures. That's the real thing. They're healthy enough as is. I mean, where daily per capita availability of nutritious food is below recommended phytochemical intake, diet diversification and improved preparation and processing to increase micronutrient bioavailability is needed, and improved potato cultivars may have a significant role here. Chief, that's just poor. Like, I really hate to tell you this, but you're not really going to survive solely on potato. That's where you need to do other crops. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it. Where food security is not an overwhelming issue, consumer demand is for more convenience food. Yeah. Oh. Going to hold your hand while I state organic isn't healthier. It's marketing. I swear to God, if I see another thing where someone talks about organic being healthier and I do not see their pesticide handler's license, they need to shut the F up. Seriously. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh boy. Okay, so for anyone who is actually wondering and feels guilty about getting industrial vegetables over industrially produced vegetables over organic produced vegetables, eat the vegetables, do whatever you can for your market. Organic means nothing anymore. It's just a certification program. I can literally put the exact same chemicals and do so organically as long as I use genetically modified bacteria to do it. Which, okay. Don't quote me the rules of magic. I was there when it was written. In this case, literally. Data has achieved worldwide prominence as a food item in part due to its yield with other food crops. Yeah. There would seem to be much potential for increased yield in many potato growing areas. Higher production in parts of North America is favored by many factors. Currently, whoa. That is not a train, if you can hear that. That's just rain. See, long growing season, which favors higher yields, long season cultivars, and production systems involving rotation with cereals and forages that improve soil structure and discourage disease. Yeah, no crap. What is your background? A dietitian? Dr. Donnelly, you should know better than with some of these things. The other two, Dr. Kamir and Dr. Dubois, I can let slide with organic, but you should know better. I literally know that university because of. Okay. Long growing. Let's see. Get off my high horse. World potato growing areas in state of dynamic change. Yeah, so when was this? Okay, so this is 2009. I can skip over that. Let's see here. Let's go with. Yeah, so this has changed since 2017. So the climate change. All right, predicted global climate change, however. Oh, yeah, that's a thing. Potato security. Major cultural adaptations involving planting time and cultivar choice will be needed to be implemented to mediate impact of increasing temperatures. Yeah. It is what it is. Potato varieties can be classified using a broad range of criteria. Season. Color. Cooking. We get season, color, culinary use. Yeah. Season, color, and culinary use, whether or not they can be stored for long time periods. potato pigments include anthocyanins. These pigments are secondary metabolites that are important in plant defense. Yes, the colors, anthocyanins, carotenoids, and precursor flavonoids and phenolics are all used in plant defense. That's why the plants make them. These substances in us act as antioxidants. Nutritional value. Potato has been widely accepted throughout the world as a staple food and is available in many forms, yet consumers are unaware of the healthful attributes of the tuber. This is one of the reasons why I'm making this video. Dry matter and protein per unit growing area competing with cereals. People think that they're high in fat and calories, even though they actually have very little fat in them, and have equal to, if not less, carbohydrates than rice. Yeah, it has a low energy density similar to beans. Yeah, so since they're going with boiled and unpeeled. Cooked potatoes, 75% of the draw matter tuber, so they have starch as a source of carbohydrates. This indicates that some of the potential increase in amylose through inspection. Yeah, okay, so this is where they're talking about this crystalline structure between for the sugars between the various cultivars, and that can be improved via breeding, which, yeah, okay. Starch quality traits of cooked potato that impact health include the amylose-amylopectin ratio and the degree of phosphorylation. That's another breeding thing. Depending on the variety, how much of one type of starch or the other they make is variable, so and depending on the structure of the starch, whether or not it's got branches or straight, long, short, complex, simple, these can impact how they interact with receptors, whether or not it's a dietary fiber or if we can get carbohydrates from it, etc. Some of the complex and hard to resist act as either probiotics or prebiotics. Basically, they're good for your butt. Either in direct response to your cell receptors or with microorganisms. Let's see. Protein. Not generally considered a good source of vegetable protein because it's 1 to 1.5%. Biological value of protein. It's 90 to 100 compared to egg, which is 100, soybean to 84, beans to 73. Let's look up what biological value of protein is. Of protein. That's what I thought. Bio value is just how much of the protein you actually absorb. So it's like you get 90 to 100% of the protein absorbed from potato because of the way it's done versus like beans, which is 73%. Okay. It worked. Protein. This is yeah, sure. Lipids are only a tiny fraction. Yeah, that makes sense. Dietary fibers supplied by cell walls. Minerals. The minerals are potassium, phosphorus, calcium. Okay, on-skin potatoes are considered a good dietary source of potassium. Vitamins. Predominant vitamin in potatoes is vitamin C. Carotenoids and their derivative xanthophylls are diverse lipid-soluble pigments. Carotenoids. Eye health. Yeah, so these are useful for. We have vitamin A deficiency is widespread, so if we could get people to actually eat more carotenoids, that would help. Oh, phytochemicals. I like how they just call plant chemicals. That's what that means. They're just that's what they're using it for. I mean I've heard it this way, but okay. Phytochemicals are secondary products of plant metabolism, which many are impact human health. I mean, yes, I guess in this case, I'm glad you defined it that way. So they got anthocyanins, vitamin C, zinc, glycosylated, phenolics, and polyphenols. Chlorogenic acid is a predominant phenol compound potatoes. Chlorogenic acid, catechin, caffeinic acid, ferulic acid, gallic acid, and moldaven are major phenolics. That makes sense. Caffeinic is similar to caffeine. Total antioxidant activity was correlated with total. Okay, so yeah, that means they're going all with the antioxidants. There's glycoalkaloids. We went over that. Lectins are glycoproteins that bind to chitin and therefore serve. Yeah, they go after. Potato lectin goes after plants, goes after bugs. Allergies to potato appear to be relatively uncommon, thank God. Palatin is a stored protein that may produce allergic reactions. 12 infants, so there is some shown for this. Palatin may be cross-reactive for persons with allergies to latex. Good to know. Infants with atopic dermatitis and suspected potato allergy were found to be positive responses to both raw and cooked potatoes. Okay. No differences were observed between the wild and genetically modified potato extracts. Boiling and exposure to gastric fluid greatly reduced the protein. Potatoes as food. Potatoes are prepared by consumers in an overwhelming variety of means. Baking, boiling, dehydrating, and frying are employed. Okay. Yeah, you have to cook it because the nutrients are in a structural form that is very difficult for our enzymes to break into. And if you cook it, those crystalline states break down, making it easier for our enzymes to digest them and get the nutrients out of it. Unpeeled is better than peeled because you're leaving several of the vitamins off. Boiling cut or peeled potatoes leads to loss of water-soluble vitamins and minerals due to their leaching out. In the cooking water, losses of minerals occur only via boiling, with greatest losses occurring for potassium and copper. Yeah, that's why if you're going to boil your potatoes, it's good to keep the potato water for various nutritional purposes. Also, I've seen people wash their hair with it for some reason. Baking, roasting, and frying generally results in lower losses. If you French fry them, it increases fat content. Microwaving cooking produces the smallest losses of ascorbic acid in three Korean cultivars. People who undergo dialysis have to limit potassium. So for that, soak your potatoes. Fresh cut, minimally processed potatoes are, let's see here. That is, fresh cut, minimally processed potatoes are available in many forms, including diced, sliced, and shredded. Polyphenol oxidized may react with substrates. To discolor cut pieces. Enzymatic browning could lead to substantial losses of amino acids, which can be minimized by immediate cooking of cut potatoes or their immersion in water. Cutting potatoes increase the activity. Phenylalanine amino lysase, HAL. Cutting it basically causes the proteins to break down. Light inhibited wound-induced phenolic biosynthesis. See here. Oh, I did not know that. Quercetin glycosides, total flavonoids, and caffeinic acid derivatives increased in fresh cut potatoes stored at 4 degrees C for 6 days. Light inhibited wound-induced phenolic biosynthesis, suggesting that the opaque packaging may be desirable for fresh cut potatoes to maximize antioxidants. Ah. All blue retain more anthocyanins when stored in the dark than the presence of light. Compared to uncooked potatoes, all methods of cooking produce significant losses in total flavonoids. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Despite the losses, still contribute substantial amounts of flavonols to the diet. More important. Sorry. Let's see here. Glycanoid content is affected by certain types of processing. Well, yeah. You can break that down with freeze drying and washing. Peeling and slicing contribute most to reducing total glycanoid content during the French fry production. However, washing and blanching significantly reduces the nitrates. Early season cultivars tend to have lower TGA levels. Okay. See, we got use of processed peels as a food item. Sensory qualities. Food safety concerns, contaminants following the okay, acrylamide. That one was actually one of the ones I wanted to read about. Swedish researchers first reported that acrylamide, a common industrial compound, can be found in many heated carbohydrates. French fries and potato chips had some of the highest acrylamide levels reported. There's general consensus that asparagine as a free amino acid reacts with reducing sugars in the presence of heat to form acrylamide through complex pathway. Although potatoes generally contain both free asparagine and reducing sugars, there exists a wide variety of the acrylamide precursors amongst potato cultivars. Kennebec and white potatoes have very low levels of both asparagine and reducing sugars. Have these various authors have summarized intervention strategies to control acrylamide levels. Okay. While it appears prudent to limit acrylamide and heat-produced processed potato products, there's still controversy surrounding the role of dietary acrylamide in carcinogenesis. Well, as you know, a while ago. Epidemiology has revealed no association with risks of breast cancer, bladder or prostate cancer, or gastrointestinal cancer. Maybe something with endometriosis and ovarian cancers, and some renal cell cancers. That they noted none of these studies found a risk due to consumption via specific group foods, including potato products. That might just be because we were consuming acrylamide from exposure instead of just one food. That would be my guess. So the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, basically eat a balanced diet with variable fruits, vegetables, and lower your deep fat fried foods. Yeah, okay. Got the glycemic index. I got something prevention of nutrient deficiencies. Yeah, the rest of these I've got other papers for that are a little, shall we say, newer. Do that. Let's see. All right. So, book. I can write up that. All right. So, I think I got enough done for this stream. What I'm going to do then, I'm going to speedball this on my own. And here. Speedball. Yeah, I'm going to speedball this on my own. Do what I want to do. And yeah, I think I should actually be able to write the script and start recording this week. That'll be cool. All right. With that, good fight and good night. I'll be finishing this up, and hopefully,